quiet town of Willow Bend, children's laughter usually filled the air at twilight, except on Elm Street. There, behind a rusted iron gate, stood the old Morgan house. Few dared to approach it. Most whispered rumors about a strange little girl who wandered its halls. Her name was Annabelle Morgan, though no one had seen her in years. Some said she never grew older. Others claimed she died a century ago. Local legend insisted she was still there, peering through the grimy windows late at night. One autumn evening, Elise, the curious new neighbor, decided to investigate. She crept up the cracked steps, heart pounding with each squeak of the porch. A single candle flickered in the parlor window, barely illuminating a child-sized silhouette. Elise pressed her face to the glass. There, in the gloom, stood a little girl in a lace dress, her hair in neat ringlets, her eyes wide and unblinking. Elise tapped the window. To her horror, Annabelle lifted a tiny hand and pointed to the front door. The rusted hinges groaned as Elise entered the house, each step echoing in the musty darkness. Moonlight from a fractured skylight revealed dusty furniture draped in sheets. A soft giggle drifted from the hallway. Elise followed the sound, her pulse thundering in her ears. She found Annabelle standing at the foot of a grand staircase, beckoning silently. The closer Elise came, the colder the air felt. In the dim light, she noticed Annabelle's skin was almost translucent, her eyes shadowed with a strange emptiness. Suddenly, Annabelle's lips parted into a too-wide smile. She let out a high, lilting laugh that sent chills down Elise's spine. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "You came to play with me, didn't you?" Before Elise could speak, the little girl's voice echoed through the corridor, repeating the question over and over, each repetition more distorted than the last. Elise backed away only to feel a cold hand grip her wrist. She gasped, looking down to see skeletal fingers where the little girl's hand should have been. Annabelle's expression twisted, her eyes rolling back as she pulled Elise deeper into the house. The front door slammed shut of its own accord. Early the next morning, the sun shone on a quiet Elm Street. The old Morgan house was silent again, the iron gate locked. But if you passed by at dusk and peered through the dusty windows, you might see two silhouettes now, a little girl in lace and another figure beside her, both waiting for their next visitor.